I'm willing to bet that most people maybe watching this video, or at least in this country, in the United States, haven't really given a whole lot of thought to, your later years and how functional, how mobile, how physically able you would like to be. I surely was not taught that per se. Well, thankfully I had parents who were modeling some of these different kind of things that helped make me who I am today. And maybe to the person who intentionally thinks about those kinds of things. But like on average, we're not taught to think that way. I think that most of us as a default think a whole lot more about healthcare, securing healthcare for when we get older. And I'm not saying that it's not important, because it is important. It is. But we know enough now to know that healthcare is not the final solution for our best physical health. It's not even the best solution. It is very good for certain things. Don't get me wrong. I'm not some sort of anti-doctor, anti-medicine kind of person. It's very good for certain things, but it's not necessarily a solution for every health issue, and it's not even the best solution for every health issue. And then we also know, in today's very politically charged world, we just don't know what will happen with healthcare from a governmental perspective. I don't get into all the nitty gritty of all that kind of stuff, because it's obviously very complicated and it's just too much going on there, Anyway, but that said, we tend to lean on stuff like that, and then I think that we also tend to just simply not think about getting older. I still remember when I was in high school, this girl who was in my class, she was probably like a year older than me, because it was a class that kind of had like two different grade levels in it, maybe 10th and 11th, or 11th and 12th. And I recall her saying that she didn't want to live long. She wanted to get to where she was maybe about 50 something or 60 something and then just die. And I remember being shocked at that. And, because my thought was like, surely people want to live. But I think the thing was that she was like, I just want to be young and vibrant. And I don't want to get old and decrepit. By the time I start to get that way, I'm done. And that was shocking to me, but I understand. I think I understand why she said that. I think she had the thought about old age that most of us do. And honestly, being, seeing people get older and seeing people get more frail and less mobile and all that kind of stuff. It's not, it's not cool. It's not the most cool thing. You don't really think about yourself in that light, but you tend to think about, it's like, man, they're just kind of sitting there and they just seem like they're not in control of themselves anymore. Sometimes people become demented, sometimes people are bedridden or wheelchair bound and, just not living life anymore. Dr. Peter Attia, who is like I don't know I can't remember what his official title is, but he's a longevity expert, among other things, and he talks about what he calls the marginal decade. The marginal decade is the title that he gives to like a person's last 10 years of life. He really encourages people to really, of course you don't know when that stuff is, but he encourages people to really train so that they can accomplish key things physically in their quote marginal decade. And it's kind of morbid a little bit when you kind of think about the last 10 years of life, but what I do like about it is that it's very practical, and it makes you think about how you want to be when you get older. I had a video that I recorded when I first started doing stretching videos where I was talking about what if you were to live 120 years? What if you did live 120 years? Had you thought about that? And most of us haven't thought about that. We haven't thought about, we just, and if we have thought about it, I know a lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say, I'm going to need all my 120. But the way that you live, if you were to reach 120, then you you would be having a real hard time. A real hard time, because your body's fundamental needs aren't being met. And so you're actually very metabolically unhealthy and just very unhealthy overall. And so anyway, I'm saying all this to say, we really need to think about how we want older age to look like. We need to throw away the old paradigm that says that when you get older, when you get to a certain age, even now some people just kind of say, 40s, 50s, 60s, you get to a certain age, things slow down, things droop, things whatever. And aging, the effect of aging on the physical body is inevitable. However, it is not it doesn't have to be what we thought it has to be. What we have seen is largely a product of being in a Western society where we have learned to eat a lot of convenience foods. We have learned to be very sedentary. Quite frankly, we've learned to not take care of these bodies. Like, we've learned to not really think anything of it. You just run them into the ground and don't give them anything, don't like that they need. Don't tune them up. Be stressed out, be malnourished, not moving enough, and then just kind of living, just based off of chance. If every time I get up, it's just by chance, because I just don't know, because I don't do nothing to take care of myself. I don't get enough sleep. I don't drink water. I'm angry and stressed out all the time. So it's just by chance. I'm wearing myself out. It's like, that's how most of us live. Instead of being intentional. And in our society, you got to be real intentional. You got to be real intentional if you live in America or most developed countries in today's world. You got to be real intentional if you want to age in a way that's good. I just posted a video on my Facebook, and I'm gonna let this be it. I just posted a video on my Facebook page. It's like a lady who was, man, I think she's like, she looked black, but she was like, I think Latina or something. It sounded like she was speaking Spanish. But anyhow, she was like a petite woman. And she looked a little older in the face, but like her body was definitely like the body of, to be honest, like upper 20s, maybe 30-year-old, 40-year-old, something like that. Like, and she was deadlifting. She was doing, like a standard bar deadlift, and lifting good weight. And I mean, she was toned and like doing really good. Like I said, I think she was 64 or 63 or something like that. And I just didn't see anything like that whenever I was a kid. It's one of the reasons, even though I have a lot of negative stuff on the internet, I'm grateful for that, because you get to see the lives of other people who don't let the paradigms of aging define them. It's like, you really don't have to be defined by anything that anybody does. It's just so much possible. Like the Bible says, all things are possible to him who believes. And I hope you believe that. So take some time and think about how you want to be. Like, if you want to be mobile, if you still want to be physically active, or even I say very physically active, still, like being able to play with grandkids, great grandkids, being able to, yes, play sports. Some people still do that. They still perform. They still compete at a high level. If you want to be able to do these different kind of things, then you just have to, one, you got to be able to believe that's possible. And then two, you just have to like orient your life around that. So I think time is really out for all of us, just depending on healthcare. And like a lot of doctors do, they just kind of give people pills whenever they come into the doctor's office, because that's what people are looking for, and that's unfortunately, a lot of what the system is designed to do. Um, but you can do that stuff, or you can, be very proactive and really decide what you want your older life to be like. Because everything that we do in our teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s is setting the stage for what happens in our 70s, 80s, 90s, hundreds, in hundred teens or whatever. You know, it could. This could be just totally. This could be totally just kind of like, man, what is he talking about? But let yourself kind of think about that a bit, because again, a lot of the reason that we kind of tend to keep on moving down the same path that most people have moved down with all this chronic disease and stuff is because we just kind of like go off of what we see and we just walk down the same path. I could go on because this is a topic that I'm passionate about, but I'll just stop this here. Y'all have a good one.
As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my bodyweight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.